Today, I'm also signing an executive order to instruct the Departments of Defense and Homeland Security to begin preparing the 30,000-person migrant facility at Guantanamo Bay. Most people don't even know about it. We have 30,000 beds in Guantanamo to detain the worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. Some of them are so bad we don't even trust the countries to hold them because we don't want them coming back, so we're going to send them out to Guantanamo.
Yes, concentration camps. Remember, when I said that Trump said that he's going to do this and that this is real, there's a real problem, and it's real Nazi shit, I just want to remind you that people were like, nah, it won't happen. Well, it has.
Capacity immediately, right? And tough. That's a tough place to get out of. Today's signings bring us one step closer to eradicating the scourge of migrant crime in our communities once and for all. And it was just it's just an unforced error that we even have to be doing this. Now we need Congress to provide full funding for the complete and total restoration of our sovereign borders, as well as financial support to remove record numbers of illegal aliens. And these are illegal alien killers, criminals at levels that nobody's ever seen before.
It took Hitler 50 days between becoming chancellor and the first camp opening, and Trump is on day 9. I mean, yeah, if you're rerunning the same route, you just know which mistakes not to run into, I guess. You can be more efficient. So you're saying we did learn from the Second World War? Yes, the worst lessons. We learned the wrong lessons. We did learn lessons from World War II, just not good ones, okay? Bad ones. And here we are using the bad lessons that we learned. Regarding 30,000 prisoners at Gitmo, considering the peak population was 778 for $540 million per year, where do they expect to house 40x times more people? I don't know. I truly don't know. I have no understanding of the logistics of how they're going to make this work in Guantanamo Bay. As far as I understand, it's not that big of a facility. So I don't know how that would work. This is how Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth discusses repurposing the golf course at Guantanamo Bay to house immigrants who are delayed in the deportation process. Oh, camps. Oh, camps. Got it.
So I want to make sure I understand this the way you described it. Of course, the image that's going to be evoked by many people when you say Guantanamo Bay is going to be the prison side of Guantanamo Bay. And the question is, are you treating illegal immigrants the same way you treated Khalid Sheikh Mohammed? What you're telling us is, and I know this to be true, Guantanamo's been used for illegal immigrants dating back, I think it's 30 years. Bill Clinton used it for something very similarly back in the 1990s. So you're going to be using it as a way station, in essence, where criminal illegal immigrants are not yet accepted.
Hey, there are plenty of facilities inside of the United States of America, guys. Why is it that they're using the one in Cuba? I wonder why they are choosing to use the one facility that is a military facility on Cuban soil. It's to play the same song and dance that we have like some sort of respect for international human rights or our own domestic rights, by the way. That's it. It's to act out the lie that we actually care about due process or whatever otherwise, but there is no due process on Cuban soil. That's why Guantanamo Bay operates. That's why Guantanamo Bay after 9/11 was used as a facility for torturing terrorists, people that we had declared enemies of the state, because it's not on American soil. So technically, given its status being on Cuban soil, things that were declared unconstitutional initially that were then, protected by the Constitution, like enhanced interrogation techniques, also known as torture, initially could be done there freely, and many other things as well. It's how you can hold someone indefinitely without a trial, because it's not a part of the U.S. Constitution. It's where you can hold people indefinitely without a trial or without any investigation of whether or not they actually committed a wrongdoing or not. A denial of habeas corpus. Okay? It's a permanent involuntary hold facility because it is not on U.S. soil technically. Because if you were to do it on U.S. soil, then, some legal hurdles would have to be cleared.
Squad cars for deportation and processing. And not every action we went on had a criminal warrant attached to it. In New York City, if a criminal warrant is attached, New York Police Department officials will assist. So the others were simply immigration enforcement maneuvers.
Wow. So no criminal enforcement, no criminal warrant, and no criminal enforcement whatsoever. I just don't understand, the Dominican guy that was randomly there that is being deported and numerous other people. Would they deport random legal migrants? They are talking about deporting, or at the very least, taking away the paperwork of legal migrants. Yes. So that will happen in due time. They're literally talking about denaturalization as the final part of this plan, this master plan. So, but yeah, they've already shut off the CBP-1 applications that legal asylum seekers were using, and they had their appointments. So basically, while they claim that they're going after illegal immigrants who have done heinous crimes or whatever, no, they're not doing that. They're actually just simply going after everyone and anyone that could be considered undocumented at any given moment, unless you were born on U.S. soil. And even if you were born on U.S. soil, there could be a point where you could get denaturalized or exiled. I hear Trump signed an order to put migrants in camps at Gitmo. He did. He did do that. And also the Secretary of Defense was talking about how they're going to build camps on top of the golf course at Gitmo to house additional migrants, because Gitmo at its peak had like almost 800 people in it. It's not a very large facility, but good thing our current Secretary of Defense, who worked at Guantanamo Bay, is now tasked with building camps. Bro, you got to be playing? No, I'm not. I don't know how many times I explained this. This is probably the I told you so moment of all time. It's one of those things that I wish I was completely wrong on, okay? But it seems to be that I'm not wrong on this. And it's something that I've been talking about, not just this past election cycle. It's something that I've talked about for years at this point, that if you consistently dehumanize undocumented immigrants and lie about them, and the Democrats don't actually counter message against that, then inevitably the Republicans will dominate the conversation, and everyone will come to this false notion that undocumented migrants are all bloodthirsty, murdering drug dealers who serially kill babies and must be violently removed from this country. And in that process, that violent removal is, of course, going to be costly, horrifying, and a lot of people are going to get swept away, not dissimilar to what Nazi Germany did. That's it. And that's where we're at currently. As was obvious, Democrats compromising on basic things like due process, civil rights would not result in some sort of Republican goodwill or electoral benefit. It's just leading the Democrats looking spineless as they possibly helped Trump throw migrants in Guantanamo. 58 Democrats helped Republicans pass the Lake and Riley Act, which will enable Trump's ICE to put migrants accused of shoplifting, not convicted, not charged, accused of shoplifting without due process. Do you understand how psychotic that is? If only there was someone who's warning about this for literally years and years and years and years, okay? And that's the reason why they have to utilize Guantanamo Bay. Because if they were to do this in an American prison facility within the American borders right now, they would actually still run into problems. You know what I mean? They would run into some legal hurdles, just like the judge that issued an injunction, just like judges that, still will hear an executive order come down and go, that's unconstitutional. What the fuck are we doing here? And they can't have that. So they have to process them expeditiously through Guantanamo Bay, where there is no need for due process, and that you can engage in involuntary detention permanently without due process for a very long time. So even if someone who is brown, let's say, is undocumented and they are suspected of shoplifting, police come, they arrest him, they find out he's undocumented, ICE comes in, they nab him, they ship his ass to Guantanamo Bay, they put him in a concentration camp in Guantanamo Bay. He is now in permanent involuntary detention with no trial. Do you understand what that is? That means every single time some racist ass sees a brown person, they can just call the cops and say, this guy actually did something wrong, did something illegal, and ICE will come and nab them and deport them. This is straight up Nazi Germany, okay? This is exactly what they did to Jewish people in Nazi Germany. This is how it works. Tack on an incentive structure into it, and it's like, we're cooking, you know? Oh, you get $100 for every immigrant crime that you actually report to the federal law enforcement agencies. Yeah, and it wasn't just Jews, it was enemies of the state. Exactly. Think about that. Yeah, they didn't just do it to Jewish folks. They did it to all matter of different people. Socialists in particular. Trade unionists, socialists. We should watch documentaries on historical examples. You mean just any Nazi documentary? Any documentary that covers the lead up to World War II will very clearly cover what is going on here. Okay? Straight up any. Like, you can watch any, even like a shittily made one. Okay? It doesn't have to be a particularly good one. You could watch like simplified history style YouTube videos and get a pretty decent understanding of exactly what's going on right now and what is to come. Okay? Even the anti-trans Nazis were super anti-trans. Okay? The first book burning that the Nazi Party engaged in was research dedicated to transgender medicine. Literally, down to the anti-trans, like it is a one-to-one, a direct one-to-one. Reactionary politics doesn't change all that much. Obviously, you have to adopt to the current time frame and the current culture and maybe change the language a little bit, but the underlying sentiment is still the same. Oftentimes the targets are the same as well. Some exceptions to that, for sure, but it is the same resentment and interest in enacting violence against enemies, perceived enemies of the state, or marginalized people that you can dominate. Well, there you go. Mississippi lawmakers want bounty hunters to find undocumented immigrants. The proposed Mississippi Illegal Alien Certified Bounty Hunter Program Fund shows how hardline immigration policies at the federal level have influenced policy proposals in states and localities. There it is. Can we finally vote blue no matter who? Yeah. Voting for the Democrats last time around was simply a stay of execution, okay? It just meant that you would get a 4-year hold on this and inevitably bring about the Trump agenda from 4 years prior. This is something that I tried to explain to people at the time. And it is directly responsible for the Overton window shifting this dramatically to fascism, okay? While electoralism is not going to be the end-all be-all or the real solution to this sort of thing, contrary to what liberals believe, I still maintain the position that electoralism can be a very important tool. It's something that I've never cast aside. It's something that I urge people to engage with seriously, right? Having said that, the Democratic Party is supposed to be competent. If it's incompetent, then it offers the Republicans these massive victories. It gives Republicans complete ground to engage in whatever kind of fascist nonsense, whatever kind of violent nonsense and initiatives that they want to do, that they want to engage in. If you understand that, if you recognize that like Republicans are devastating to the country, to the globe, to the lives of Americans, to the lives of your neighbors, then you have to do everything in your power to fight back. And the Democrats did not do that, okay? Parading Liz Cheney around was not that. It was the opposite of that. This is why I kept criticizing the Democrats during the election cycle. This is why I was losing my mind. I was like, dude, I don't want Trump to win. I don't want Trump to win. It seems like you guys, the Democrats, want him to win, or at least don't care enough to do what is necessary to stop him from winning. And here we are.